My husband and I have a 5-year-old daughter and I'm 6 months pregnant with a boy. We recognize that our parenting style is quite different from that of our parents. Due to my own experiences with an eating disorder caused by my upbringing, we prioritize autonomy in food choices for our daughter and plan to do the same for our son. To foster this independence, we set up a tiny, semi-functional kitchen for our kids, complete with a small fridge and a sink rigged with a weak pump. Our daughter keeps snacks in her fridge and pantry, ranging from bananas to individual chocolates, and she has the freedom to take a portion of whatever she wants when she wants. She can make simple dishes like fruit salad or oatmeal, and she helps us cook when she feels like it. This method has resulted in our daughter not going crazy over candy or chips because she can decide when to have them. She also knows that once her snacks for the week are gone, that's it, so she's learned to pace herself. Now, onto the actual story. My mother-in-law is in town for a while, and we let her stay with us. Although I like her, it has been a struggle at times because she has very set ways. She is not a fan of the tiny kitchen and thinks we're going to make our daughter obese by allowing her to have snacks whenever she wants. On the first night, she took away a granola bar my daughter was eating because dinner was at 6 p.m., and it was around 4 p.m. We asked her to please give it back and not interfere, and she relented. Last night, our babysitter got sick, and we asked my mother-in-law to watch our daughter. She agreed since it was just from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., and our daughter goes to bed at 7:30 p.m. When we returned, we found our daughter awake and crying. I went to soothe her while my husband talked to his mother. It turns out my mother-in-law had made baked fish with boiled potatoes for dinner. Our daughter told her she doesn't like fish because the smell makes her queasy, but my mother-in-law insisted she had to eat everything on her plate or she wouldn't be allowed to get up. Our daughter ate the potatoes and tried to eat the fish but gagged. My mother-in-law got furious, took the plate away, and sent her to bed early. Our daughter got hungry and went to her kitchen to make some banana oats. My mother-in-law heard her, took the food away, threw it out, and brought out the rest of the fish, insisting she finish her dinner if she was hungry. Our daughter started crying and, while trying to eat, threw up at the table. My mother-in-law changed her and cleaned up, and that's when we came home. I was livid. I immediately told my mother-in-law that her behavior was unacceptable and that she had overstepped our boundaries. I made it clear that she would not be welcome to stay with us again if she couldn't respect our parenting choices. To make matters worse, I discovered the next morning that my mother-in-law had unplugged our daughter's fridge and put it outside. It rained heavily overnight, and the fridge was completely ruined. When I confronted my mother-in-law, she brushed it off, saying it was for our daughter's own good and that she didn't need a fridge in her room. I decided to send her the receipt for the fridge to underline how serious we are about this. My mother-in-law thinks I'm overreacting and that I'm being disrespectful to her as the grandmother. My husband is on my side but feels caught in the middle. So, am I the idiot for refusing to let my mother-in-law come over again and sending her a receipt for our daughter's fridge? Edit: my mother-in-law ordered the fish through a grocery delivery service. Not the idiot. My husband is on my side, but he feels caught in the middle. If he's on your side, then he's not in the middle. If he's caught in the middle, then he's not on your side. Your mother-in-law's treatment of your daughter was abusive. Simply tell your mother-in-law that she's no longer welcome in your home until she pays for the fridge and apologizes to you and your daughter for her inappropriate behavior. She won't be allowed any unsupervised time with your daughter or the new baby for the foreseeable future. Your mother-in-law ordered the fish through a grocery delivery service, so she could have ordered pretty much anything to feed a 5-year-old but chose to go with fish. That reads like your mother-in-law waited for her chance to trump your decision unnoticed. See, I made your daughter eat the old-fashioned way, and she got over her silly pickiness. Maybe I'm right after all, and your new-age coddle parenting isn't so great after all. I broke your property and broke my granddaughter's trust, but it's not a big deal to me. Jesus Christ, your mother-in-law is a horrible person who should have zero contact with your child. What she did was abusive and vile. I would never allow her around my child again, period. Toxic people do not change, period. End of story. My husband and I had our son knowing that we wouldn't receive much or any family support. My father-in-law is ill, so that takes up my mother-in-law's energy, and his siblings are child-free and not really interested in kids. My family lives far away, and I never expected or received any help with babysitting, except on the rare occasions that my family came out to visit and gave us a date night. Yes, it would be amazing if my husband's family was more involved, but I've never thought anyone owed us any babysitting, and we made the choice to have kids with our eyes wide open. My husband's sister has offered to take our son a couple of times to give us a break but ultimately flaked each time. At this point, I'm not really sure that I'd be comfortable leaving my son with her. I'm currently pregnant with our second son, and we told the in-laws we were having another boy during a family gathering. Everyone congratulated us but kept asking if we were disappointed that we weren't having a girl. I repeatedly said no, I love my son and was happy to have another boy, but they wouldn't drop the subject. His sister kept hounding me about when we would be trying for a third so we could give the family a girl. I told her there wouldn't be a third since we were planning to stop at 2 kids, but she kept pursuing the topic. 3 is better than 2, and you don't know what you'd be missing out on not having a daughter. I found this annoying because, 1, my sister-in-law has no kids and is child-free by choice, and 2, nobody in the family pays much attention to the child we already have, so I'm not sure why they're so concerned about it either way. My sister-in-law kept hounding me, and I told her that it would be difficult for us to afford a third kid with daycare costs, limited family support, a small home, 2 working parents, etc. I didn't emphasize the family piece, but it was one of several reasons that I rattled off to explain our decision. She eventually dropped it but texted me later that night to say that she felt targeted since I knew that she wanted to babysit all those times, but something always came up. I said that was fine, my decision about the size of our family had nothing to do with her, and I never expected her to babysit, so I was upset about it. Apparently, that response annoyed her even more because now she's telling my mother-in-law and husband that I don't think she's a good aunt, and that's not a good reason to deprive the family of a girl. My husband says not to worry about it and that's just how she is, but I probably shouldn't have mentioned family support if I didn't want to fight about it. You're currently pregnant, and they're already demanding you create another human? What the heck is wrong with them? Deprive the family of a girl? I shook my head at this. It is not your responsibility. What a gross statement. Not the idiot at all, not even a little bit. I know, right? They are having 2 kids with an equal chance of having a boy or girl. Why is it now her job to keep having children to get one of the required gender, especially coming from someone who has little interest in the nephew she already has? Especially with no guarantee that the third would be a girl. I guess she's just supposed to keep having them until she gets that girl. My childhood church had a lady with 5 boys who tried again for a girl and got twin boys. She gave up at that point and waited for daughters-in-law. Anyway, if the sister-in-law wants the family to have a girl, then she should have one. It sounds like there's something going on, maybe she does want kids, but something is preventing that. My wife, 25F, and I, 29M, have been married for a year but together for 4. Ever since I met her, she's had a weird habit surrounding food. I noticed it on our very first date. Instead of eating everything on her plate equally, she eats the sides first, then the main, and then drinks her drink. I eventually asked why she does this, and she said she doesn't know but can't stomach eating a bite here or a bite there of different things. She doesn't like when different things get in her stomach at the same time. Because of this, she often gets full before she even eats half of the main and then gets hungry later on or upset because she couldn't taste the main food. Sometimes she wants to drink with everyone else but simply can't let herself. So now, every time we make dinner, I serve her a lot less than what I think she will eat. That way, she eats all the sides, then gets to the main and can actually eat it and try to enjoy a drink. If she's still hungry, she has no problem doing the same thing twice, it's just a quirk she has. It doesn't bother me. This past weekend, we hosted dinner for her sister's husband, and a mutual couple friend. I saw her sister eyeballing her plate as I gave it to her, but I assumed she also knew about the food thing, and maybe that's why. Well, after dinner, during which my wife ate her first plate of food, her drink, and then a bit more of a second, her sister approached me as I was doing dishes. She asked me why I was limiting my wife's food. I kind of laughed because I was surprised by this and said I'm not, and explained what I said above. Her sister told me that was unacceptable and that my wife was allowed to eat how and what she wanted. I explained I absolutely agreed, this is just something really small that helps her. But her sister was annoyed and even took it as far as telling the other couple. I cleared it up with that couple, who said they didn't care nor did they believe I was starving my own wife. Am I the idiot for doing this? Not the idiot because you've discussed it with your wife and it's something she prefers. It's none of her sister's business. This is a tried and true system that works for the two of you. I respect your sister-in-law for trying to look after her sister, but she is the idiot for approaching you and more so for involving your other guests. She should be checking in with her own sister, who could have cleared it up with no drama. To be honest, this sounds like a very simple, sweet gesture to me. Your wife obviously has the option to get more if she chooses, but having less means she gets to try everything. I think this is perfect. To be loved is to be seen. I've noticed recently there's so much push towards making sure we don't control our spouse that we're losing little gestures like this because people say, if your wife appreciates it, that's all that matters. I personally am a sucker for these little gestures that show love and knowledge of your spouse. I, who 25F, have always been close to my stepmom Linda, 50F, and my half-sister Emma, teen F. My mom passed away when I was young, and Linda has been like a second mom to me since she married my dad, 56M, when I was 6. We were a tight-knit family, or so I thought. Recently, when I was home visiting for the weekend, my dad was out running errands, and I decided to do some cleaning to surprise Linda. While tidying up my dad's office, I found a hidden drawer in his desk. Inside, I found a second phone and some letters and photos of my dad with another woman and a young boy who looked about 5 years old. The woman in the photos looks shockingly young, probably not much older than me. It was jarring to see my dad, who is in his late 50s, with someone who could easily be mistaken for his daughter. I was shocked and confused. I took the phone and the letters to Linda and Emma. Linda was devastated, and Emma was in tears. We decided to confront my dad when he got home. When my dad returned, we presented the evidence. He couldn't deny it. He admitted he's been having an affair for the past 6 years and that the boy in the photos was his son. Linda was heartbroken and kicked him out of the house immediately. Emma was furious and refused to speak to him. Since then, my dad has been trying to reach out to us, but we've all been ignoring his calls and messages. He's been staying with his girlfriend and their son. Our family is in chaos. Linda is considering divorce, and Emma is struggling with the betrayal. I've cut off all contact with my dad. My grandparents and other relatives are pressuring me to forgive him, saying he's still my father and that people make mistakes. To make matters worse, my dad's girlfriend reached out to me on social media, saying she had no idea he was married and that she feels just as betrayed. I know she's probably lying about this because how could she have found out at the same time we did? She wants to meet and talk. I've scheduled a meeting with her. I feel torn. On one hand, he's my dad, and I know people aren't perfect. But on the other hand, he lied to us for years and hurt us deeply. Linda and Emma are my family too, and I don't want to betray them by forgiving him too easily. Am I the idiot for cutting off my dad? Not the idiot. Dad's a grown person, and he should have ended his current marriage before getting into an affair and having a child with another woman. I wouldn't meet the affair partner. It's kind of weird. I wouldn't trust this woman. She wouldn't reach out if she didn't want something. The mistress is definitely lying. I mean, there's no way that she didn't ask questions like why is he gone all the time? She's had a flipping child with this man for 5 years and didn't ask why he wasn't around more? She's full of absolute crap. She's so lying. 6 years, and she seriously thought he was a traveling salesman? Sure, January. A 6-year affair isn't a mistake by any sense of the word. A mistake is a one-time thing. Years long means it was a conscious choice each and every time. It's not just the cheating, though. He's lied to all of you each and every day for the last 6 years. And if he'd not been caught, he would still be hiding this. Utter betrayal doesn't even begin to cover this. He would still be hiding his mistake if he hadn't been caught. Really let that one marinate for a while. No matter what you decide, not the idiot. Good luck, sweetie. My husband Sam, 39M, and I, 39F, are celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary by inviting our family members for dinner. We decided we just wanted to be surrounded by the people we love. I love my sister Charlotte, 35F, very much. However, her wife Kate, 38F, has never really fit in with our family. We all love and respect her, of course, but just for context, most of the misfit stems from her being a conservative lawyer and marrying into our super liberal family. Now, usually, I would definitely invite Kate to this event along with Charlotte and their kids. However, during our last family dinner at my parents' house, she made rude comments about my 18-year-old identifying as non-binary. Kate insisted they were still a she, that this whole thing is made up, etc. She ultimately stopped her comments by Charlotte's intervention, but I doubt her views have changed. Now, because of how she insulted my kid and how hypocritical I think it is of her to be married to a woman and still say these things, I decided not to invite her and only invite my sister and their kids. Ever since the invitations have been sent, Charlotte is very mad and says she would not attend the party nor would her kids unless I apologize and invite Kate too. I explained how her behavior affected my kid and how deeply they were hurt, and I pointed out how Kate never apologized. Charlotte is usually a sensible person, but I would be lying if I said Kate's behavior hasn't rubbed off on her a bit. My parents agree with me, Sam agrees with me, but some family members insist I shouldn't be so hard on Kate. Was what I did an idiot move? Not the idiot. Yeah, wow, that is a wild ideological ride. Tell your sister that your main priority is to protect your child and family from her bigoted wife and that the event is a celebration of that family, so you don't want someone like Kate to taint the day. Then tell Charlotte that she and the kids will be missed. If Kate wants to be a hateful bigot, then she and Charlotte have to deal with the consequences. Congratulations on your anniversary.